we're talking about students going to the general population. Okay, we're talking about the least restricted area, because I believe now, and this is something I believe in. I believe students need to have the right to go to regular classes so they can be in with regular students, because that's important. And I want to say this, and I'm looking down here. I made myself a note. Mainstream. That's what we call it when I was a principal. Okay, so we had ESC students, and we wanted them to be mainstreamed into the regular school setting. So they went to regular classes. That's so important, you know. And we used to keep kids like, okay, all ESC kids over here. You know, if you EBD, you over here. If you know, but we need kids to go out and be in the mainstream. And I deeply believe that. And I can tell you a story, and this is a true story. When I was a principal at Chamberlain High School, one of the guidance counselors, Veronica, made a mistake. And they put a kid into a regular, I want to say an honors class, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know that girl had good grades? She made, and they didn't know. They did not even know that kid was an ESC student. She did everything right, no disruption in the classroom, and did a great job in that classroom. And you know what? She made a C, but that's okay though. But she worked hard, and you couldn't tell the difference. So you got to give kids a break. Let them go into the mainstream operation of the schools.
When you ask that, I really think that means to me that, you know, kids need the ability to learn whichever way is best for them. That's really prevalent here in District 5 as well, where the traditional school setting, some of the curriculum may not be the best for a certain demographic of students. You know, I'm a proponent of having, you know, student-led instruction, allowing kids to get involved in the instruction as well. Now, as a school board member, that's not my wheelhouse. That is something that the superintendent must do, but I'm a strong proponent of it and will certainly encourage the superintendent to allow those things to happen. We know that right now our teachers are really forced to just teach to the test. It's all about preparing students for the FSA, and teachers lack the ability to really use their craft and their skills to get kids where they need to be, because everything is so prescriptive and so mandated, where by the minute teachers are forced to do whatever the state wants them to do. And so for me, I think it's important to allow kids to learn how they need to learn in an environment that is very conducive for them to thrive in. And that's just less restriction. Literacy has to be our North Star here in Hillsborough County. That is quintessential what we are when it comes to education. We have to make sure that the superintendent is implementing best practices and providing programs that will help our students achieve better literacy rates. And we want to make sure that all students are on grade level. I am excited and I can't wait to see the outcome of our new SIPS program that really is going to focus on phonics. That's very critical here in District 5, where the achievement gap starts in kindergarten. And so the ability to get our kids caught up, at least on level, if hopefully above level, is very, very important. But it is the responsibility of the superintendent to make sure that is happening. And I know I've said a lot that it's the superintendent's responsibility, because it absolutely is. But as your school board member, those are the things that I grade him by. Those are the expectations I set for the superintendent when it comes to reevaluating his contract and whether or not he or she will continue their tenure here in Hillsborough County. We must close the achievement gaps and really focus on literacy. It has to be our priority. Otherwise, we'll continue to get the same results.
So literacy is developing a strong reading process, as well as writing and math. Now, and I guess a couple of questions ago, we spoke about this. In order to have a strong program in literacy, I'm going back to the parents, I'm going back to VPK. I'm going back to kindergarten, first grade, second grade. You have to put teachers in, not at parents. And some parents can't do that. I understand. If you can't do that, but we got pre-VK, VPK, and we also have Head Start. You know, we have all those programs. But we have to concentrate on those areas, Veronica, because when a kid get up to high school, you either there or you're not. You're there or you're not. So we need to put emphasis on VPK, on kindergarten, first, second grade, and or any other areas to help those students when they are young like that. Because you got to do that. I mean, that's important, because what happens like I said, when they move up, if they don't have it, then it's hard to teach them from those areas during that period of time. It's hard. So they need to have the basic foundations. And you know what? We don't need to have tests. We don't. You know why we don't need to have tests? And I want to make sure when you put me on the screen, I want to tell the PTA and the PTSA, you know why we don't need tests? We didn't have no tests for COVID-19, did we? Not one. And we survived. So tests is not that important, is it? Not at all. Because teachers are there to teach, and they are there to do. That's why I want to be an advocate. I want to be an advocate to have testing taken out, because we test kids too much. We test. And they're not receiving the basic foundations. Well, let me tell you this. Since I am a PTA person, and I love the PTA and the PTSA, I would be willing to brainstorm with the PTA to be able to help come up with something that we could help parents so they can be more involved in their students' life. And I think this is important. When you put the right leaders in schools and in the community, and when you have the right leader, they invite parents into their schools, because so many times we have alienated parents from coming into our schools. Now, we don't want parents coming in and try to run the school. I mean, we can't have that. But we want parents to come in there, because, you know, like when I was our area superintendent, you know, we used to have parents to come in and help out with first, second grade, help out with students, you know, help out with the books, help out passing out papers. I mean, we had parents to come in there, and the PTS and the PTA was involved. We have to build up our PTAs. And you know what? You know what responsibility is? The administration and the teachers to recruit parents to come in so they'll be able to help and do whatever we need at those schools to make those schools successful. We have to build it up, because without the PTA, without the PTSA, without community involvement, we can't succeed. We have to have that. And that's so important to have. And it's so important for the parents to understand that when they do come into the school, they have rules and regulations that they must abide by. And we want to invite them into the school.
Parental involvement is critical. Our schools and our students can't function without parental engagement. But during the time of COVID, where parents and people are restricted on our campuses, or maybe just totally disconnected from the education process, I believe that we have to go where the parents are, wherever that may be. And I think it's important, you know, for instance, you know, as your board member, I have held parent nights out at the football field while the kids were on the field playing. You know, I've held parent meetings in the conference rooms or in the buildings that they have at the fields. I think we have to meet them where they are, but I think this is an absolute great opportunity for the PTA. After all, this is really what the PTA is about. And so whether it's talking how we're talking now via Zoom or some other type of online system or texting, I think this is a great opportunity for the PTA to really grow and thrive. So many of our parents they don't know what's really happening. They don't know how to get engaged. They don't know what's going on. And so what a great opportunity for our PTA, which is that bridge between the community and the schools, to really engage these parents. But I'm of the strong belief you have to go where they are. They may not have the ability to come into the school. And so I believe the PTA should absolutely go into the community, partner with other school PTAs, have one big PTA night at the football games. Whatever it takes, I think that it can be done. I certainly support all efforts of that.
In our house, the peanut butter belongs not in the refrigerator. That's right. Not in the refrigerator, not at all. And that's a belief of my family, by the way. Not in the fridge, no.
In the cupboard, okay, right? I mean, if you keep it in the fridge, it's gonna get hard. I mean, it's gonna be hard to spread and you'll tear up your bread. So I absolutely keep it in the cupboard. One cupboard, I have my dog's peanut butter to make sure I don't bother it. And then the other cupboard, I have my nice Jif that's just for me. But absolutely no peanut butter in their fridge. I'd like to know your response around ketchup. Now that's the really big debate.